Well, hello and welcome to the Points of Interest Podcast. This is the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Ox. I am the 303 Ninja. And right over there, he is my podcasting partner for life. He is the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, man?
How's it going, man?
It's going. It's been a week since we talked.
It's been a week. It's been a couple weeks.
It's just been
It's been a week. It's been a couple weeks.
Has it really? I think it's only been a week.
We didn't go.
We didn't.
You were sleepy last week.
I was. I ate food, and then I just got super tired. I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
I needed coffee. And a hot pot.
You guys have O'Reilly over there?
Yes.
O'Reilly Auto Parts?
Formerly Checkers. Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever looked up what's it, item G 121G over at O'Reilly Auto Parts?
No. No.
Go, right now, if you can open up your browser, go to O'Reilly Auto Parts, O'ReillyAuto.com.
Okay, I'm taking care
if you
of
can.
audio things. Hang on here. Go to where?
All right.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
Yeah. No,
Auto.com. So this is the real O'Reilly Auto Parts. Okay.
Okay. All right. O'Reilly.com. Yep. I'm at O'ReillyAutoParts.com. Okay. You want me to search for what?
121G. This is item 121G.
All is one series. No hashes. No tags. No.
Nope.
Okay.
121G. That's all you need for the.
Holy cow! That's awesome.
I just discovered this. Apparently, this has been a thing for years.
Time travel. This is awesome. Plutonium is required.
Compatibility. Plutonium. Yeah.
Plutonium is required to properly operate the flux capacitor.
Maximum power 1.21 gigawatts.
Oh, that's awesome. Working speed 88 miles an hour. This item is not available.
Really funny as a thing.
That's awesome. That is a cool Easter egg that I did not. I wonder if that was around when they were Checkers.
I don't know. Like I said, I just discovered it today. Somebody posted it on like Reddit or something, and I thought
they're not called O'Reillys.
I can't wait to talk about.
What are they called? No, wait, it was Checkers O'Reilly. Yeah. It is O'Reillys. Yeah. Never mind.
They're just not called Checkers anymore, I guess, or whatever you were saying.
I'm pretty sure they used to be Checkers.
Checkers here is a fast food restaurant, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what it used to be called. But yeah, we don't have Checkers. Is like we have a Rallies and a Checkers, and they're kind of the same thing. They're like a diner, fast food restaurant.
Yeah, this past weekend, me and the special lady, we escaped. This will make sense. We escaped up to a mountain town that has hot springs to escape the wintry cold weather and celebrate her birthday.
Okay.
But the place that we went to apparently was a cowboy mining town at some point. And Emilio Estevez's old buddy, Doc Holliday. I can't think of the actor's name that played him. But apparently Doc Holliday.
Oh, Val Kilmer?
Was that who Doc Holliday was?
I thought, Val Kilmer, it was Doc Holliday in one of those westerns.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I don't
know which one, though.
I don't remember. Either way, he died in Glenwood Springs, where we were, and is buried there. And there's a hiking trail you can go check out his grave, and it was on the list of things to do. Tombstone. He was Doc Holliday in. It was on the list of things to go check out, but didn't quite make it. But yeah, that was in my head. That made sense what you were talking about.
I was like, I'm talking about Checkers and Rallies. I'm talking about restaurants.
Oh yeah. So they had so they had a Doc Holliday's restaurant But at the same time, they had another place. I don't remember what the other name of the restaurant was. The same restaurant, two different names. One was themed, the other one wasn't. But they basically had the same menu. Like at one end of town, you can go to the fucking the themed saloon, walk through the double, the saloon doors, and hang out with cowboy horrors or something. And then the other side is the cleaned up side. I mean, you just eat, I guess.
Hi, listeners, mate. Yeah. That sounds fun. I've only ever been to one cowboy town. I've been to actual Tombstone, Arizona. That was the place. Yeah, and that's a weird town. Arizona in general is weird, but Tombstone specifically is weird because
Arizona is just a town full of cops.
Well, no, I guess. But when I went in like 2007 or 8 or whatever, everyone was riding horses. It was not Tombstone Pizza. Yeah, I'm probably sure they had Tombstone Pizza there, listeners mate. But no, they all ran around horses. They were all carrying, but they were all carrying like 6-shooters. It wasn't like a Glock. It wasn't like any type of regular handgun. They all had 6-shooters. I don't know if they were prop guns or whatever, but like, there's a guy on a horse going through a drive-through at McDonald's while I was there. Like, cool. That's a way to get food. I mean, you are technically driving through. I mean, you're galloping through, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah,
I was at the grocery store.
How was your?
Well, I was at the grocery store the other day, about a week ago.
Yes.
The other day, and I saw my first open carry asshole I've seen in a long time.
Is Colorado open carry?
Yes.
Oh. I didn't realize that. I knew Arizona was it. California isn't, but yeah, I didn't know Colorado was. I feel like Colorado is so separated from that world.
There's concealed carry, but there's whether
know.
it's legal or I don't own a gun, so like gun laws are just kind of like, we have them. Do they work? I don't know. So like I'm pretty sure.
Sorry, go on.
I mean, I know a real gun. It was open. It was there. It was on his hip. Is it legal?
So Colorado does not prohibit. No, it doesn't. It does not prohibit the open carrying of handguns or long guns in public. This is the part that threw me off. And no permit or license is required. You guys are crazy. You guys are the Wild West.
Well,
California is the Wild West. Y'all are the Wild West.
Every time they show a picture of Denver, what do they show? The fucking mountains and ranches and cowboys and horses and shit. They never show the actual city of Denver, where it's full of.
I know it's
buildings and
so tall,
modernism,
so high.
Well, yeah,
a mile high, hard to see.
And I was double that elevation. In the mountain town we drove to. We're at like 10,000, 11,000 feet, something like that. Went to a hot springs. My super naive ass thought we were going to like natural hot springs, like springs in a cave or something. And no, this was all like, they were natural spring water, but like in tubs of different shapes. Like one was shaped like a heart for France, and
Yeah, but you can drink You can drink natural spring water. I don't know if you can drink this water.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't know.
Looking at the particulate that was in some of the pools, but it was great. It was super relaxing. The funny thing is, I am your naked neighbor. Totally. I don't give a fuck. Right? But in public.
Good to know.
Oh, yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah.
But like in public, out in public, clothes stay on. I only take my clothes off for 2 things, and one we won't mention. So I was happy because like I'm not what you would call in shape or fun to look at naked, I would say.
Sure.
So when I step out and there's all the people that were there in attendance, and I'm just thinking I was gonna freeze my fucking balls off, like literally, because we're in a mountain town and it's the winter. It was warmer there than it was here in Denver. It was great.
That makes sense. You're in natural hot springs, so it's going to heat up the atmosphere,
right? And just the atmosphere around, which was great because you're just walking around in a pair of shorts and jumping from. Also, Francis.
Yes.
There's no cool way to get out of a pool as a dude. Like shorts stick to you getting out of the pool. There's no cool way to get out of a pool.
Oh no, you're exposed to the world usually.
Yeah,
I mean, there are ways. I learned a couple of ways to kind of air yourself out so that you can kind of keep yourself modest when you exit a pool. But
I mean, I didn't really care if anybody saw my piece or nothing. But like, I'm just not my piece, but I wasn't carrying. Well, no.
I can't say anything. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
But like I didn't really care about that. But like, ladies get out of a pool and they look all, every lady gets out of a pool. There's some attractiveness there. Like, right. And then there's a dude just getting out and everything just sucks to their legs. And yeah, you see what religion somebody is from fucking across the fucking resort.
Well, that's why Speedos are kind of popular amongst Europeans and whatnot, because you don't really, it's all kind of tucked in real tight.
Sure.
So you enter and you exit kind of in the same exact state. There's nothing weird about that. But here's my question. So it sounds like there were different pools of water.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, were they secluded or were they all like open to every other pool? Like, could you look across and like, was there any privacy?
None
in the different pools.
No. Some had like
interesting.
A pagoda above them, I guess is the right word.
Oh, like a gazebo.
Like a gazebo. Well, a pagoda is a gigantic gazebo. But they had like wood structures above them. Some sort of framing where they could put lights and speakers and shit like that. But no like drapery or silken sheets or something like that or rooms. And they were all each pool was inspired by a different place in the world. As I stated, the one from France was shaped as a heart. I thought it should have been shaped as a baguette or a wrecked car.
I knew you were gonna say baguette. I would have gone croissant, I guess. That's a rounder shape.
I mean, that's kind of like a heart,
shaped like a croissant. Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So she does a heart. That's kind of lame. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it was smaller, So like a heart shape is gonna, you get less people in a heart shape than you do a rectangle.
Were there a lot of people there? Were there like
there was a fair amount of people.
A
lot of couples. Okay. A lot of. Well, it was St. Patrick's weekend as well, which I completely forgot about.
That's right. Yeah.
So there were people getting their drink on at 10:30 in the morning in a hot, basically a hot tub. A great way to get drunk, I guess. The lady and I, we just, we jumped into different pools. We hit the snack bar, which said snack bar. And then we got there and it was, I can't ever say it right. What's the board of cheeses and meats and like apple slices?
Charcuterie.
Yeah. You can get one of those.
Charcuterie.
We ended up getting like a prosciutto and like naan bread or something with fancy stuff on top.
I was going to say, this place sounds fancier and fancier the more you describe it. And we kind of talked about this pre-show. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't sound as fancy as this. That sounds pretty fancy.
It was my special lady is a little extra. And
look at you using the terms.
She's a little extra. Well, she uses it, so Sorry for the noise.
Yeah.
Windows open. And she's awesome because let's face it. I got fired in December. I don't make as much money anymore. I make like $800 less than I was making before. So,
Sure.
We talked about wanting to go do things financially. I can't take care of no hotel, or nothing like that.
Sure.
So she booked a hotel. She booked the hot springs. She did research for all these different activities that we can go and do. All I had to do was make sure she was happy, pay for some food, get her, a couple gifts here and there, and make sure we went up and down the mountain safe.
Yeah, well, you're at that point. I mean, you guys have been together for a while now. You're at the like give and take point of the relationship, where it's not always you have to give to be impressive. You can now take every once in a while.
Sure, yeah. It was just really nice to just get away. What was really cool is that a family member of hers let us borrow their Audi Quattro.
So I rolled my eyes.
Hey, nicest car I've ever driven. Now, when I talk about this, there's different levels of nicest. Like, I've driven.
That's pretty nice.
Well, what I mean is, I've driven a really nice, like, hydraulic, lowrider car, right? But the car itself was a piece of shit, but it was a nice lowrider. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Yeah. Okay. I like quantifying an Audi Quattro.
But as far as like the echelon of luxurious cars, Audi's up there, and definitely the nicest car I've ever driven.
Audi.
It was
I've
nice.
never driven that nice of a car. But anyway,
I mean,
real quick, just want to acknowledge, yes, St. Patrick's Day and Easter are very close together, listeners mate. And I'm hoping you wore green, even though maybe you didn't.
Well, I mean, I am Irish. Not everybody knows that. I don't wear a sign walking around that, but I did have a Muppet shirt on. I had Kermit on it, so I was good there.
Green?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, no, it was a black shirt. Come on, Francis. I don't wear anything green. But Kermit was on the shirt, so covered there.
Nice.
My lady had many different green things on.
So she knew it was St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah.
When you guys went.
Yeah, I mean, she was aware of it. I mean, it's not either something either one of us is like, oh, let's go get Fushnickered, because that's not her thing. And that's definitely, rarely is that ever my thing. Like 3 times.
Well, there's other things you can do. Like I was looking for food. I just want Irish food.
Well, that would have been the town that we went to. Really isn't a town people live in. It's just it's restaurants and hot springs. That's basically all it is, and an amusement park.
It's a tourist spot.
Yeah. They had no English, Irish type of joint, there. So I didn't even do mega research, but kind of looking at all the different restaurants that were there, I was like, oh no, they're not gonna have. Like they might, so one of these bars, umpteen million bars that are in this town, they might do, an Irish breakfast that morning, but they're not gonna have it like advertised anywhere else but the outside of the fucking bar, probably.
I was gonna say, best you can expect from those kinds of places is green beer.
Right.
Green beer and a Guinness. That's like the most you probably expect from those places. And a little whiskey.
This town did have a weird drinking policy where they had drinks to go, and there was a designated place where you can drink said to go drinks. So it's very odd. Like
it's like Vegas.
No,
but you can drink anywhere in Vegas,
right?
So.
I mean, the area that it was in, I would imagine, it could get pretty crowded in the summer months. But it was just weird to be like, it is under a freeway viaduct. So it's just kind of like, this is weird. Like, I'm trying to enjoy my ice cream, and this guy over here has got 2 big frosty green beers. He's just chilling under a viaduct. It's fucking cold, and he's drinking beer under a viaduct. And it's just, it's just cool.
Did you know, as listeners may point out, that the best rendition of Danny Boy is from the Muppet Show? I guess Beaker Animal. I don't understand how the Swedish Chef sang it because he doesn't sing. I don't know how Animal sang it because he doesn't sing either. He makes noises, doesn't he? He doesn't speak.
I mean, he kind of growls. He growls a little bit of words every once in a while here and there.
Oh, and Beaker doesn't speak either.
Beaker just go.
So they essentially harmonized with no words.
Yeah,
okay, I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I never watched the Muppet Show, so I can't say that I've ever heard the best rendition of Danny Boy then.
Fucking Francis.
Not my cup of tea.
Look,
I barely made it through the Muppet movie, Like, when I watched that, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it, but, I already saw the best part, which was him singing on the log. Like, I've seen the best part of the movie. Oh, and them driving, and there's a fork in the road. That was funny, too. That was pretty funny.
What's really fucked up is that when I first heard that after the movie as a kid, I actually looked for a fork. I think my father said, "Oh, there's a fork in the road," and I was like, "Where?"
I mean, it's easy to look, if you're going to do the visual gag and you're a kid, of course, right? Besides, fork doesn't make sense anyway. It's more of like a Y in the road, not a fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fork has like mini tines.
Right. I guess if you have more than one road, when you reach that point, then yes, then I guess it's a fork. But anyway, it sounds like you had a good time either way. It sounds
had
like
a great time. Had a great
town
time.
Was a lot of fun.
Went to some steakhouse for her birthday, and destroyed a plate of mussels. Which,
really?
Oh yeah.
I'm a little. That kind of surprises me.
Why?
You're at a steakhouse. Why would you go for the mussels?
Do we want an appetizer? Is that or calamari or oysters?
I thought that was your main dish.
No.
I didn't know it was yours.
No, it was an appetizer. And I guess 2 people on a romantic, evening dinner, oysters would have been the thing, but snot on the half shell is just not really my thing.
You have to make noise.
Yeah, and I've never eaten them in public, so I don't know the proper way to eat an oyster.
The proper way of eating an oyster is not ordering it.
Yeah,
don't order it.
So we get the mussels instead. Way. And I like a girl that can eat, and
she can put it away.
Despite my girl being like a toothpick, she can eat sometimes. But she was hungry.
Is she happy that you're announcing this on the show?
I don't know. She don't listen to this. But no, it was a good time. It was great, and good weekend, great weather. Could have taken my car. Better be safe than sorry. And I'm never gonna say no to driving luxury vehicles.
Well, the fact that this random person of whom you must know a little bit, just use my...
I don't know the person whatsoever.
$50,000, $60,000 car. Oh, okay. So here's a stranger who just happens to know your girlfriend, and he's like...
Well, I don't think it was a stranger. I don't think it was a stranger.
No. But here's my $60,000/$70,000 luxury vehicle. Go ahead and drive it on this... this fantastical weekend you're about to have.
It's possibly mountain ice snow packed roads. Yeah. But at least it was all-wheel drive. The reason why I said yes to it, is because up until the moment we left, looking at road conditions, the road that we needed to travel on basically the entire way there said traction laws were still in effect. So that meant traction laws are 4-wheel, all-wheel, or chains. I don't own chains. So I didn't want to get 70 to 80% of the way there and then have to get turned around because I don't have chains.
2 chains?
I don't have 2. I needed 4. I didn't even have 2. I didn't even have 1. So, I got your reference.
First off, I want to thank the listeners, mate, for being so kind as to offer you, Josh, if you ever need it, a 2001 Chevy Malibu, which is maybe the height of luxury right there, the Chevy Malibu. I don't even know if they make the Chevy Malibu anymore, actually. I don't think that's that's how rare, that's the rarefied air you would have if you drove a Chevy Malibu, because they don't even make it anymore.
And I mean, my car is totally capable. It was just because of the road conditions, I opted for safety.
No, look, dude, you did the right. Look, this is not a commentary on your choices of driving a fancy car. This is just a call out to the women out there who listen to the show, that if you're looking for a boyfriend, I'll be happy to be that if you have someone who owns a very expensive car that we can borrow to go on our romantic getaways. I'm using it as an example here, Josh.
Yes.
I just want the ladies out there to know
hey,
that this is something I would like to experience one day.
These things happen, and I just go with them.
It's cool, man. No, it's cool. It's cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, a great weekend. We need to go back. There's a lake that is up it's really hard to explain. It's up a mountain trail. This lake really shouldn't exist, but it does somehow. Like geologically, it doesn't make sense.
Water. It just exists.
Well, yeah, like geologically, I guess it doesn't make sense that it's there, but I guess it is. I don't know. There's something magical about this lake everybody fucking talks about, but the trail to get up to it is like a moderate trail in the best of times, and it had just snowed a dump load the day before. So I was just like, I don't know if we should necessarily be trying to go up a moderately rated trail, and that could be covered in ice and snow with no cell phone coverage, and neither one of us are hikers, extreme hikers.
Yeah, because I saw there was a tweet that made the round a few times of a woman who got lost she went off the trail, which was her first mistake. She just happened to go off the trail and was like lost for 14 days, and they showed the before and after picture.
Just emaciated.
Yeah, just bone.
Yeah,
she was just bone by the time they found her. And I'm like, well, at least you survived. Like, good for you. At least you made it.
Yeah, I mean,
surviving off of berries and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not gonna, not trying to jinx nothing or talk shit or nothing, but I mean, if you're gonna get lost, Hawaii isn't the most bad place to be. I mean, there's coconuts everywhere.
Yeah, but no, I think you're better off not going off and trying to discover nature.
Right. I mean, like, I felt, having to borrow somebody else's car that was, better capable. I felt inadequate, I guess, as a male in the old traditions of a fucking male, right? Look, like, we all have the animalistic, things of us or whatever that hang around for a little while. I'm not saying I fucking live my life by those things, but it came across in my mind. I was just like, ugh, I don't feel like doing my job here. But no, I was, by making sure we were safe.
Right. I mean, look, the expectation of you having to chop wood and build a fire from just rocks and debris if you ever got lost or stuck up that mountain by the lake. So I'm sure the lake has, water that's potable, that's drinkable.
I actually went camping with
yeah,
a girlfriend once that got fed up with me trying to start a fire with flint and like shavings of something that I was using, and I couldn't get it to light. And she got so fed up, but like somebody had fire starter. And just came over, just started it. She's like, "I'm hungry. Let's hurry up." I'm just like, "Oh."
Right.
I was trying to. I bought this specifically to start a fire with. Damn it. Oh well. I'll do it at home, I guess.
Well. Yeah, I guess so. Right. Yeah. And you're right. Yeah, and listeners, mate, you're right. Ponds and lakes are just weird in general.
I mean,
as a concept, I suppose.
Especially where this one is located, it's in a steep canyon. It's just weird to have, and it's called Hanging Lake. So it's just, I've never even seen it. And I've lived here the majority of my life, so it's something I would definitely like to see. I just don't want to, break my leg going to see it in snow. If I break my leg, going up the thing in the summer, that's fine. You just chill out, fucking hang out. But, the cold sucks.
It does. No, don't get me wrong. It's not.
It's easier it's a lot easier to go into shock in the summer than it is. You go into shock in the winter, you could die.
Or what'll happen is you can be cryogenically frozen and then wake up 100 years in the future. Perfectly fine.
Like Jake Paul is gonna do in July when he gets knocked the fuck out by Tyson.
Did you see Tyson training?
I've been watching Tyson
every day.
I've been watching Tyson continue to train since I've been on Twitter. As long as he's been on Twitter, he's posted videos on Instagram, Twitter, wherever else of him continuing to train. Even before this fucking match was ever announced.
I think but the training videos I saw was like, this is day 4 of training to fight Logan Paul or whichever Paul decided.
Jake
Paul.
Yeah. I'm happy Tyson is gonna get to do the thing that we've all wanted to do, to everybody in that family since they got a camera and put their first video on YouTube. Not Jake from State Farm.
Someone pointed out, it's like, whatever happened to original Jake from State Farm? Because they changed Jake from State Farm.
Sure.
But anyway.
What happened to the original caveman?
Well, they're gone. They had a sitcom on ABC for like a season and a half.
No. It was on Fox, my friend. It was about 3 episodes.
Oh, right.
But yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't do a show for the Geico Gecko. But anyway, go on.
In July, end of July, middle, end of July, something like that, on Netflix. So Netflix is becoming interesting. Rent physical media from us. It'll arrive in 3 days. Oh, we have this new thing. Now when you put it in the mail, we see that you put it in the mail. We'll send you the new stuff. Oh, wait, we got this new thing called Instant. What did they call it at first? Netflix Instant. Netflix Instant.
Oh.
You could stream this and that. That's kind of cool. That's fun. Now we're dropping physical media. Oh, okay. Now just stream from us. Oh, hey, now we're going to fucking stream live pay-per-views. Netflix is already $80,000 a month plus $59.99, $70, whatever it's going to be to watch Jake Paul get his ass knocked out.
Cable doesn't exist anymore, so you got to find it. So you got to get your pay-per-view somewhere.
I mean, it does still exist.
Yeah, I guess
it's just not
fewer and fewer places.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
live.
Not every place has broadband until every corner of America has broadband. You can't force everybody to stream everything.
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I mean, what's out there for rural places? There's
Satellite internet.
There's satellite internet, and there's only fucking like 3 companies that do it. Wild Blue is one of them. I can't think of the other one, and the other one is we launch a SpaceX. You know, we fucking launch a rocket every week with our satellites on
Elon
it.
Musk Starlink. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I used to work pretty closely with one of those satellite providers. And granted, it's 20 years ago. But their technology sucked. And to watch the SpaceX Starship, you know, granted,
Starlink
tumble back through the atmosphere. It had 4 Starlink transmitters on the ship itself, and the ship produced such a wake behind it that they were able to transmit video of Starship coming through the atmosphere, and no one's ever seen live footage of shit coming through the atmosphere before. Now, granted, it fucking disintegrated, but it was cool to see it. And those other satellite technology, they couldn't do that at least 20 years ago.
No, well,
they were still 20 years ago when I was dealing with those companies, they were still charging people data like per month. They could, when I was working there, they could only, the people, like the data plan was only good for about 4 movies a month. I don't know what, 4 movies equal to, but, whatever that data basically is what they got for internet for the month. That's ridiculous.
It is.
When a world...
more ridiculous.
Go ahead.
I want to know what you're going to say.
Well, in a world that at the time was heavily transitioning to putting everything on the internet, and where we are now, where if, they unplugged the internet, nothing would fucking work. I think you got to have as many options as possible to get people to drop all the, landline stuff. They just killed 2G. Like officially.
So 3G is the most minimal of,
as far as I'm aware, yeah. And it's weird because I think only emergency services use 2G.
Okay.
That's something I either misinterpreted or somebody gave me the wrong information. Which is highly likely.
I'm pretty sure. So I was just trying my best to look up how many people still use dial-up. But the last statistic of that is from like 10 years ago. I'm assuming no one uses dial-up anymore.
That's probably safe
it was only 3% of the population. Yeah, I'll say 3% of the population 10 years ago probably means like 0.1% of the population now have dial-up internet. But yeah, so I love that Listeners Mate likes to bring up ham radio. It's like his thing. For some reason, ham radio is still existing, which is amazing.
When you drive through a neighborhood, Francis, you have to have you got to have an escape plan or some sort of bug out sort of plan, right? Not a like a bug out bag and stuff like that, right? But you got to have some sort of a plan. And what I do is I drive through neighborhoods and find ham radio antennas. And I go to that motherfucker's house in an event of an emergency because he is prepared.
Yeah.
And you could probably overpower him and then take all his shit.
Oh, God. Luckily, my dad is a big kind of ham radio enthusiast. Still
Oh,
does ham
okay.
radio stuff.
That's
So
awesome.
he tried very hard for me to get into it as a teenager. He wanted me to have my own CB radio and my own call sign. So you should get a call sign.
What was your handle? What was your handle?
I didn't have one. I
You
never
didn't
ended
even
up getting
come
one.
up. Come on, really?
No, no. Well, no. Well, so the call signs here are numbers and letters. We didn't have names.
Oh,
So it was like CV6897. Like that was like their call sign.
sure.
And growing up, my parents both had a call sign because my dad wanted a ham radio in all the cars. We didn't have cell phones yet. We didn't have a car phone yet, so we would just like CB each other on the car on the radio in the car. So it's so funny that I haven't had to think about this for years, but it's just funny that listeners may like, yeah, ham radio, like that's a thing that you can do. But he's talking about TV more than anything else, which I didn't realize was a thing
I didn't either.
you can do with ham radio.
My grandma had a CB in one of her cars as a kid. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
And when you have it in the car, you have to have a corresponding like 7-foot tall antenna.
Oh yeah, the whip.
So we couldn't. Yeah. So like in the back of like my parents' cars, these old 85 like Toyota. Imagine 85 Toyota Corolla,
Oh, yeah.
with like this just on the trunk, just this gigantic, just this big old antenna, so that we can communicate.
Well, the funniest part about
home.
CB radios back then, anyway, is that you could be right next to the trucker, talking to the trucker in the lane next to you, and not understand a fucking word he's saying.
Yeah. No, but one of my favorite, one of the things that like I used to fall asleep to at night as a kid was my dad would leave the radio on, and people would talk over whatever that
That channel
was. Yeah, and they would just like have it's just randos who never gave a name. They only gave like letters and numbers. Would just have like a conversation about just life, and it was really weird. I'm like, oh man, it's Twitter before Twitter, or like whatever it is. He's like, this is just a random dudes just talking to each other and never meeting. It's like two boats sailing in the night, just whatever. Nobody cares. They just talk to each other. It's kind of cool.
There's a part in the.
You're right. That's
Go ahead.
In that what?
There's a part in the movie, the King of Kongs, or maybe it was the after.
Oh jeez.
I think it's that movie, or it's another one that was produced by the same guy that looked at a lot of the same. It was a different movie that looked at the same players from the King of Kong, the ancillary players. But one of the guys, not only was he really good at whatever game he was good at, but he was also really good at repairing old arcade machines. And a guy had a bad arcade board that he was like, I'm going to go to this guy because, I've been talking to him on the ham radio, and I found out that he's, this arcade guy. So we're going to go check it out, check out his ham radio stuff too. And, so part of the story is, then focused on the old man that's, really good at Kablam, I guess, or whatever Atari or Commodore game you can think of. Kablam was great.
Sure.
Wow. Yeah, but it was ham radio. Yeah, so I go to my plans go to a ham radio operator's house in the event of some sort of emergency.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you gonna? Yeah, because what else are you gonna do, right? Best way to communicate.
It's a great one. I miss Nextel with the two-way.
Oh, chirping.
The chirping. Yeah. Oh man, it was great. When I worked for a retail giant doing loss prevention, we had Nextel phone radio things to communicate with other stores and within the store. It was fun.
Well, that was the selling point for like when Sprint bought Nextel, and they're like, don't use up minutes, just
It was free.
just
It was just part of
yeah.
their fucking network. As long as you paid
And so
for,
the phone,
like, as long as your plan
as long as you
had
pay for the
access
service.
to the fucking two-way, like, it was cheaper to talk that way.
So your phone was like half phone, half walkie-talkie, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Right? Because you had to press the button to talk still.
Mm-hmm.
But that was what it was.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, look, I never got into the beepers and and any of that stuff. I was never in that world. Everyone else was. I just wasn't.
I had a beeper, a two-way, had access to a Nextel, whatever CB2, whatever the fuck that was called. Yeah, all that stuff was fun to me. We talked about on here if a pager would still work.
Well, the weird thing is, we're at an age. Okay, so we're at an age now where people in their 20s have no idea what we're talking about anymore. In their 20s, they're not kids, they're not teenagers, they're they're adults essentially. So there's adults out there, adults making decisions, adults making money, adults just living in the world, who have no idea what we're talking about when it comes to like any of this stuff, two ways and beepers and all that stuff. No idea, right? And what makes me sad is that like there was nostalgia for kind of old tech, people like especially in video games, right? People still want a Nintendo, regular Nintendo. Bless you. People are looking for the original Atari. Like people want old tech, but nobody wants an old, like any of that older, see-through VTech stuff or any of that. Like nobody wants that.
Nobody would want my old Nerf phone.
Right, or the phone that looks like the phone that you would get from Time magazine that looked like a football.
Sports Illustrated.
Or Sports Illustrated. I think Time was like, it looked like Marilyn Monroe or something. It's like her body on a couch.
No, dude, it would be the scene from the fucking the movie. Come on, the scene. And every time the phone rings, her skirt gets blown up.
Oh, that scene. Oh, yeah.
That's what the Marilyn Monroe phone would be. I'm gonna make that.
Whenever girls like it hot or whatever.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
One or yeah, but
some like it hot.
No. Well, here's the thing. A listener's mate says that no one wants a Garfield telephone anymore. I actually think people would want branded phones. I think people would want the branded stuff.
But there are no landlines, so I mean, you would have it just as decoration.
Landlines.
Huh?
Landlines still exist.
They still exist, but the majority of people don't have them.
I guess not. I don't think landlines are going to go away anytime soon because you need. It doesn't require power. It doesn't require anything. So, like, it's great for emergencies. So, I think a landline is kind of a thing that'll never go away.
I mean, I think, personally, as long as it was cost effective, it wasn't an exorbitant amount of money to have a fucking landline, I would totally have one. I don't know. I haven't had a fucking an apartment where I needed. When's the last time I had a TiVo? Fucking 2004 was the last time I needed a fucking landline for any kind of, technology.
TiVo.
And at the time, TiVo needed a landline because that's how it got its TV guide, if you will, information, on-screen guide.
Another thing, people born after 2000 will just like, you need to collect a phone line to access the internet. Oh, how Neanderthal.
You want a weird bit of fucking nostalgia? You can go on YouTube and listen to a 56K modem dial into something if you really want. The nostalgia of hearing that sound.
Well, I have a question for you though. Does it matter? Like when we were young, we were aware of like tech from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Like I feel like we were more aware of stuff back then. Right? Like we were more aware of the rotary phone and like
because
stuff.
I'm sure you have a point you're trying to get to, but like I'm going to interrupt, but it's because it was all still being used.
I guess so.
Like
that's
new,
true.
New shit.
Yeah, my grandma had a rotary phone.
We had a rotary phone in my house. It was Mickey Mouse, I think. I think Mickey Mouse was rotary. It may have been a push button. I don't remember.
It was. Yeah.
Because I think there was two different versions of it. But I had rotary phones growing up. I had push button phones growing up. I had a translucent phone. I had the fucking Nerf phone that you could throw at people and shit. It was great. Yeah, I don't know.
There were ads. People who are young, there were ads in like the 90s and even early 2000s, and let's just bringing up bulletin boards being via modem that are still around. Yeah, I think stuff like that still exists, but stuff that doesn't exist anymore is used to. A commercial would say, "Dial using your touch tone phone," because there wasn't a tone when you used a rotary phone, right? You had to, but on a touch tone phone, my dad used to have this little device. It was like a little brown. It looked like a pager, but it had numbers on it. And all it did was have tones. Because if you picked up a phone and you hear the ringtone, for people who remember what ringtones are, and just hearing that boop, boop, and if it hears the sound of numbers, it will dial that number. It doesn't, like there's no reason why the numbers are physical on a phone. It just needs that sound, that doot, 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 doot. It needs that to dial out, right? I didn't know that. That was like fascinating to me at like 10. But like,
I wonder if your dad was into freaking. Phone freaking, not being. I mean, maybe we don't know. I don't know your dad, but if he did ham radio, then he's got some device that's throwing tones. Wonder if he did some phone freaking.
Maybe. He was an engineer, so like it kind of.
It's making even more. You should ask him. You should ask him if he ever did phone freaking.
I don't think he knows what that means, but yeah, I'll try. I guess I'll bring it up. Be like, oh.
He'd be like, "Oh, I was fucking great at it, son." We never paid for long distance ever.
Oh, maybe
that was a thing too. That was a thing too. You had to pay long distance fees to talk to a different zip code, sometimes in your own state,
in your own county. Yeah.
Sometimes in your own county. You just drive to the person's house. It was cheaper. Yeah. I don't know why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We just thought, we're talking about ham radios for some reason. Yeah. Ham radios got brought up, and then we just talking about old tech.
I mean, it's ham radios. Ham radios are still being used. You were talking about when we were younger, the tech that was around. I interrupted saying it was still being used at that time.
Yeah,
I still have
tapes are still being used. Yeah.
A can opener. I think either was obtained in a relationship or was taken from my mother's house when I moved out. Which who knows how old the can opener was old at that point? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but a can opener hasn't changed much in like 30 years, 40 years. Can opener, except for now, there's some that are electric. Can openers, for the most part, are exactly the same, don't you think?
Yeah, but what I'm saying it's an old ass can opener that I have. It's super old. I have a colander from fucking the like version 1 of colanders. When the first motherfucker that was like, "Hey, let's poke holes in this bowl." I have that.
Okay. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but like, I think, I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's like saying I have a ruler that from like the 1980s. Yeah, it's a ruler though. Like rulers don't change. Do it. Let's just put up that radio. You're gonna be the one that saves people during the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, there you go.
you're going to be the reason why people survive because you have your 20-foot long antenna. Start talking to truck drivers
who are only interested in whores.
Surprisingly not, though. God, they're so like, oh man, I remember just again listening to just truck drivers on the road because you just have to be on a channel and they'll just start talking to each other, and it's so boring.
See, I only remember them talking about the weather and where to pick up a whore.
No, well, maybe. I mean, maybe where you were,
Well,
but like
Southern
no,
California,
I mean, it was
baby.
just like, oh, I guess so. Oh, that's true, right? I don't know. I just feel like they just talked about oh, traffic over here. Oh, there's this guy who was driving erratic. Like it was like boring stuff. Like nobody cared.
Sure.
If they talked about a horse, I'd remember it because I'd love that stuff. Like, oh. What?
That's all I would do.
What? Route 16? What?
That's all I would even look for whores.
What exit?
But I would talk about it all the time on the CB. I would be a menace of a truck driver. I really would. That's a good thing I never really wanted to pursue it. It seems like it'd be fun, but it doesn't at the same time.
Well, truck driving is like the Navy in the sense of like you'd have a woman at every port. You'd have a woman at every stop, every truck stop, at every Buc-ee's you go
A
to.
lot lizard
or a travel lodge or whatever.
No, that's what
anyway.
the whores at the truck stop are called.
Oh,
lot
yeah,
lizards.
So you pick up a lot lizard,
Yeah,
and I mean, look, your truck has a bed, right?
it's got two
not like you have to
in
go
a lot
anywhere.
of cases.
It can.
It's got a bunk above the,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, it can. Yeah,
But that's where you put your chips
But why would you
and
want
like,
it?
your non-perishables.
Yeah, you put your snacks in there.
Yeah.
I always wonder, like, because some people sometimes you see them in pairs, right? You see guys, long hauling in pairs, and just like, oh, do they share the whore? Do they each have a go?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about why one of the big reasons why I've never pursued it. I don't get along with other people very well. And I definitely don't get along with people on their fucking schedule. So to be stuck in someone else's truck for 2 weeks, learning the ropes, learning how to do things, not being able to stop and take a piss when you want to, I don't think I can do it.
You have your ladder buddy or whatever it's called.
Sure, your fucking your truck stop coffee cup, whatever. But
yeah,
but I get that. But yeah, just being stuck in some grizzled old fucking bastard's truck for 2 weeks, no.
Yeah, but then you get a month off.
Not,
you work for 2 weeks straight. You get like
Yeah.
a month off, or like at least if not a month, maybe a couple weeks off. At the very
I think
least.
it's 14-14.
Okay.
Or like 3 weeks
So, like-
and 2 weeks off, or so. It depends on, I guess, who you're driving for. But you probably make a lot of money.
Sure.
You get to see a lot of the country, which would be cool, I guess. I don't really have a big
long
desire for that. But driving in winter conditions, driving in cities, nah. That's no.
Well, I mean,
I have
again,
road rage with 4 tires. Don't give me fucking four. Don't give me 14 more. And and I was like trying to think of how many wheels I got. They'll give you more wheels and that much more weight. Not that I would be aggressive in a truck, but like it's just not a good
own the truck
combination.
though. If you own it, you could like decorate it and like put like
It's true.
spikes, like in Mad Max
Right.
on the wheels, right? You can.
I get the
you know,
gear shifter that's
like
way up here. You have to shift like this.
like they do. Yeah, it's oh god, it's such an interesting life. I am curious. I mean, I guess Lister's mate almost found out when he had with the girl that he had a crush on having a. I guess CDL is for driving trucks.
Commercial.
I suppose.
Yeah, commercial driver's
Commercial.
license.
Oh, commercial.
Yeah. The other thing
I
being
had a,
that
I had a,
I like weed way too much
oh, that too.
to you know not
That's what I.
not participate in that in my life. That would be too much of a shock. That'd be weird.
So, is that Class A, C, D, L?
Class.
I mean, we're Class C.
Yeah, Class A, I think.
Okay, yeah. So I've only ever had, ever had a Class B, because I had to drive a bus at one point in my life, which is not fun. Let me tell you that now. Driving a bus is like harrowing, because and it wasn't even a bus. It was just a long van.
Sure.
It wasn't even a real bus. It was just a really long van. But they expect you. This is what I hate. They expect you to know how to parallel park a long van. Like, you're crazy. You're joking. There's no way this is going to happen. Yeah, there's an expectation. Like, yeah, parallel park. That's part of the driving test. Parallel park this 18-foot van.
That you're never going to do in a real situation. You're going to double park.
Exactly.
Like every van in the fucking world does.
Well... Or just find a spot where you can just kind of go in first.
Sure, but I drove a van for a very short time, about 14 days. And I never parked that fucking thing anywhere. I double parked that bitch. I put on I park anywhere lights. I got my park anywhere lights on. I'll be right back. And go up a fucking 50-story building to go grab somebody's fur coat. And come down and see the line of traffic behind my van. Be like, oh. Yeah, see, I got my lights on, though. It's okay.
Did you have a Class B?
No, I just drove a van.
Oh.
Like the A-Team van. It didn't have the cool stripe or fucking, or, Murdoch in it or anything like that, but.
Did you drive off of, like, dirt cliffs or dirt, like, inclines?
No, Francis, but... One of the things why I only did it for 14 days was because I'm confusing. No, this was a construction place where I also drove a van, and I only did that for a month. But I went to a place that was being repaved, and I didn't see any other way to get into this place, and I needed to deliver goods to this place. So I said, well, fuck it. I'll take it I've driven slammed vehicles before. I know how to attack curbs. You go at an extreme angle. Sure. So I took it at a really extreme angle, but didn't see the 3-foot drop on the other side. So yeah, I got this van into a lot that the entire building came out to watch me get out of their lot because they didn't think I was going to do it. Because then I had to go up a 3-foot thing and then get to the road. And I was like, well, I'm not getting stuck. So I'm going to make a road and get out of here. Okay. And then they contacted me on my Nextel radio thing to tell me that I better not have fucked up their truck.
I mean, you can. That's a really easy way to do it.
It is. But then I was like, those motherfuckers told on me.
Yeah. You shouldn't be surprised.
I wasn't that one. You know what what I was surprised about, Francis, to jump off of that.
Yes.
I was really surprised to see clips this past week of some fucking award show. I don't know what the fuck it was. But what I saw
the Oscars?
Was like Birkenstocks and a sign float across the screen. It was weird.
Yeah, what? Okay.
John Cena was naked. You can't see him.
Oh. Yeah. What is with him doing stuff like that?
I don't know.
What is
I mean, if you look at the internet, it's for the Illuminati. You gotta embarrass yourself in front of the public and shit before you get to the next level of stardom.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny, and everybody else has already made the joke because we didn't do the show last week, so I'm behind everybody. But you can't see him.
Yeah, we talked about the Oscars. Yeah, I was like, what? What? Yeah, no. Yeah, I heard the conspiracy theories. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, he had done some sort of like mankini on, and pretended as if he was butt booty, and then whatever.
I mean, I'm sure no one would have minded if he was naked, like for real.
He wrestled in jorts, so like he never wrestled in a little bikini bottom thing, little manties.
Oh yeah.
So but did he probably have something on to keep his junk all together all those years? Probably so, if not wearing a cup. So it's probably not out of the
dancer's belt, right?
What's that?
Most people.
A lot of wrestlers wear a cup of some sort. Some guys don't.
Dancer's belt is similar to a cup, I guess.
Similar,
it just keeps everything in easy.
Yeah, you just keep everything together. Which brings us to our sponsor this week. No,
Manscaped.
No, that there's underwears out there that separate your boys.
Oh God, there is. Yeah,
there's underwears out there that just have a pocket for all your stuff to sit in, separate from the rest of your shorts. See,
I don't know if it's
we
just
would be
me.
so good at commercials.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm noticing fewer and fewer sponsored things that I watch or listen to. Like, I feel like more and more people are getting independently paid. They're just like getting paid directly versus having to go through sponsorships.
It's possible. To be the fucking the other side of that, I wish I knew what the brand of the toothbrush company was, but just about every YouTuber I watch in the past 2 weeks has been sponsored by this fucking toothbrush company that offers things in carbon and aluminum, and the heads are really cheap to get replaced, and it's like Dollar Shave Club for fucking teeth. But just about everybody I watch on YouTube has been sponsored by these assholes.
Oh, I mean, good for them.
Yeah,
I guess
that's how we're never gonna get it. Calling them assholes. Yeah.
Fine.
So yeah, I don't know where we were. I don't know where we left off.
I don't know.
Mike Tyson. Let's see, award show thing. Let's see. Oh yeah, funny thing at the workplace.
Okay.
Spanish is spoken a lot by people that come to see me, which is fine.
Yeah,
sure. And I let this exactly. I let this gentleman know that in English, I'm like, "Hey, you're gonna need a cart." And he just stares at me. I go, "Okay." Say, "Carito." Oh, okay. All right. Well, you speak Spanish. We're at least I know we're gonna have a communication issue possibly, but at least he understood Carito. So he still, but I could feel him behind me as I'm doing what I got to do. I turn, I see him still standing there, and I give him the full sentence of "You're going to need a cart" in Spanish, and he's just staring at me. And finally, I almost said it. I was like, "Should I say it in Japanese so neither one of us will understand it?"
Oh, maybe his Spanish is like a different kind of Spanish.
When I said it a second time in Spanish with the full sentence, he totally plus he saw visually how much stuff he was having to pick up for this thing. He finally got it, but I was just like, yeah, I don't even know what it would be in Japanese, but I'll make some shit up. If I'm making up the fucking, I'm not rolling my R's correctly, but you're understanding me, so.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Exactly. You're gonna need a cart. Is fun to say though. Necesitas un carrito.
All right.
And somebody said that was the wrong way to say you're going to need a cart because it's a command, I guess. But I'm like, well, yes.
Necesito is I need a cart. Necesito is I need a cart.
Necesitas.
Yeah, necesitamos probably.
I don't know,
You know,
but people
I think,
understand me.
yeah,
They understand me enough to go, get one if they need one.
carito.
Carito, yeah. Um, yeah. Check mark, check mark, check mark.
Combo? Oh, geez.
Check mark, check
Well,
mark.
idiota was added to it, but thank you for
Oh.
that, Licious Mate. And I'm sure you're right about the ham radio thing, because I doubt very many podcasters talk about ham radio as much as you have allowed us to. I'm sure there's ham radio like manufacturers that are like, well, they're hitting an audience of preppers, so we need to get them the sponsor on the show because they're getting the preppers.
This week's sponsor is
ready.
brought to you by bugout.com.
There's an actual store. I forget, it's not Bug Out, but it's like it's like an apocalypse like store where they sell literal like
MREs and shit like that.
Yeah. And like, like bulletproof vests and stuff like that, and like hard hats and just all sorts of just like things you would need to survive the apocalypse. I'm like, okay, you're an actual store that exists. Good for you. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there in the desert who need you. So, thanks for that.
Well, speaking of plenty of people, Francis, I don't know how I'm going to transition into this. There's a trend in the car, tuner world, the car racer world.
I forgot about this one.
It's because it's at the end of the show. Like, I got nothing else to say really.
But I just forgot that this is something we were gonna bring up.
Well, okay, so when I bought my Honda Civic last year, I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to join a couple, Reddit groups or, some sort of forums of some sort out there to get some tips and tricks and things to look for or look out for. And I found a bunch on the Facebooks. So I joined a bunch of those along with other places. And, we're on Facebook, the majority of us, I would say, more than Reddit. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So I see these Facebook posts come up a lot, and there is a growing trend amongst, like I said, I don't know how to define these people. Are they tuners? Are they ricers? Is ricer fucking the bad thing to say? I don't know.
Just say it. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Ricer.
There's it's called a toe strap. I'm going to bring up a picture here so everybody can see what I'm talking about. But
you mean like like toasted bread in a wrap?
Right.
Toast wrap?
Toasted.
Oh, toast strap.
So I don't know if people could see my mouse on screen or not. But the red,
I'll take a look.
I'm not going to do it. The red thing sticking out of this guy's bumper of the front of his car is called a toe strap. Yeah. Now, I will say in this guy's for his case, at least it's in the right place. Now, is it properly attached? I don't know. I'm not going to zoom in tight enough, but you will see on a lot of tuner cars or imports or ricer cars, you will see something like that hanging off the front grill or bumper area. And a lot of them are zip tied to the grill. They serve no purpose whatsoever other than having something dangle like truck nuts off your car. I mean, people have them on the front and the back. Sometimes they're a canvas strap like this one. Sometimes they're a little Hello Kitty or a heart that, like a metal heart or whatever. They serve absolutely no purpose on a non-tracked car. Because if you were on a racetrack, that's what they would pull you out of the dirt with, was a tow strap. If you're stranded on the side of the road and the tow truck comes to get you, they are not going to take the time to pull by your tow strap. And if they do, and you don't have it properly attached, it's going to rip your bumper apart. Tow truck driver is going to grab the axle.
Modern cars nowadays Yeah, modern cars nowadays have like a built-in thing for tow
Yes.
trucks to kind of latch onto anyway. So it's not
They
like they
they
need that.
do, but most I've talked to a tow truck driver because that's how much this annoyed me. I didn't go like seek one out, but I've happened to see one.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Yeah.
Uh, and I asked him, I said, and he knew what I was talking about. I said, hey, the tow straps you see on the front of cars. He said, yeah, I've never used one. We grab the axle and pull the car onto the flatbed with the axle because that's strong. The tow strap is not strong enough. And I'm like, thank you. So I spent like the last week and a half or so on some of these posts on Facebook mostly
Yeah.
asking what is the purpose of the tow. Like I said, in this guy's case, in the picture I pulled up, which is, like I said, at least it's in the correct place. Is it applied, attached properly? We don't know. Not going to do the research, but at least it's in the right place.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on like? Because you're more annoyed that it's a thing that has no function.
Yes.
That's attached. So it's just decoration. But like, I mean, like decals have no purpose and are just there.
They're
for
pretty dumb
decoration.
too.
But I guess okay, because I was just saying, like, what are your thoughts on decals or like bumper stickers? Which I don't think people don't do bumper stickers anymore.
They really don't do bump. Yeah, I mean, like I have a few stickers, that I bought specifically for the car. Not going to completely shit on stickers, but like I just don't. It's not 2001. This isn't the fucking Fast and Furious. Ludacris isn't going to line up next to you in Monaca.
But even then,
was it Ja Rule? Who was that? It was Ja Rule. He isn't going to line up with you with Monaca.
Tyrese? Are you talking about Tyrese?
Whoever the fuck drove Monaca in Fast and Furious, man. That's who I'm talking about. Where you're Monaca. Oh, anyway. It's not 2001. This isn't the Fast and Furious. Like, I just don't understand the point of underglow. I don't understand the point of these toe straps. I don't understand the point of interior lighting, like colored interior lighting, or to have some sort of LED thing in your dashboard. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, so the lighting, I miss it. My Mini Cooper had lighting on the handles, the door handles, and under where your feet go.
Okay.
And a couple other places, like the little bin where you put your stuff in, like just kind of trash or whatever. Like you just put like your loose change or whatever into the little cup, but it lit that and stuff.
Sure.
I feel like
I'm talking about
my car, my new car.
Auxiliary. I'm talking about
like that.
Unneeded purchased, third party purchased auxiliary. I can't even say it now because I'm all tongue tied.
Yeah, but I'm tempted to get the and no, not the honk if you nobody does honk if you bumper stickers anymore. I only ever see now, the only bumper stickers I see now are the baby on board bumper stickers. Still, baby on board bumper stickers still a thing, but like the lighting, like I miss it. I feel like I want to install like strings of LED lights so I can see the places I used to be able to see in my Mini Cooper, like on the floor and on the sides. It was nice to be able to kind of see that at night.
Now, would you want to just have?
Now it's just like,
would you do a red or a blue, or would you want it to be a cycling RGB like your fucking computer?
Well, the funny thing was the Mini Cooper, it didn't cycle, but you can change the color.
Okay.
So you could change the color
if you,
but it didn't cycle like LG. Yeah.
I just RGB. And it's everybody's car to each their own. At the end of the day.
Yeah, sure.
Right? It's your car. You paid for it. You can do whatever the hell you want to it. But there was one guy that posted a picture. He had just got it. He was very proud of his new purchase, and as you should be, right? But there was a toe strap on the car. Now, as I've stated 3 or 4 times, This one is at least in its correct position. The picture that the kid posted, the toe strap, was attached to the driver's side. So if we're looking at this picture, the right-hand side of the car, which there's no toe point whatsoever on that side of the car. So I'm just like, dude, please just take it off. Like, or not. Take it off or not. It's your car. Has a point.
What about license plate covers? What do you think of license plate
I
covers?
think the ones that are like bejazzled are a little weird myself.
What if they just have words? Like, I brake for no one, or
their car. I agree with that statement, because the most wasteful thing you could do in a car is step on the brakes. Not in your car. Your car actually serves a purpose when you step on the brakes. It recharges your batteries. But for everybody else, it turns kinetic energy into useless heat. So braking is dumb.
How about the license plate cover that says, "My other right is your girlfriend"? How about that one?
I mean, whatever. The Yosemite Sam, mud flaps attached to the bumper and not the fucking wheel well, whatever.
You know what I haven't seen recently either, which I'm kind of like, the silhouette of the woman leaning back or whatever, like you see on mud flaps on semi trucks.
Sure.
I don't see that anymore.
I don't think license plate covers. Whatever. I have a silicone license plate cover because I don't want to hear anything rattling against the car, and I definitely don't want to ruin paint. So silicone makes sense to me.
Sure.
Before I realized that I wasn't going to be able to transfer my one and only set of license plates to this new car.
Oh, sad.
It is. It's very sad because they are. I got them in 94, 95. So 30 some on years, 20 something on 25 plus years. They were pretty wrecked. Honestly, if the DMV saw the plates, they would be like, you can't rock these anymore. But because they never asked for them, I never showed them. But I got these silicone covers specifically because I was going to transfer these old crusty ass plates onto the new car, and then that way I could keep them a little bit longer because they'd be a little bit more protected. So license plate covers don't really bother me. It's the ones, like I said, that are all vajazzled, or I'm just like, why is your license plate vajazzled? That's weird. Like those cubic zirconias are going to hit the sun and they might blind somebody.
Yeah, you already have like high beam LED lights already taking care of that business.
So do you.
You've already taken care of that.
You have
people in front and
as now do you. So.
But mine. Maybe.
Yes.
I feel like yours must be brighter. Like I can't imagine these are stock. These are stock LEDs. They're not like aftermarket LEDs. So I feel like they're not as bright.
They may. I don't know.
I bet
no one has. Normal. I have gotten a couple people flash their lights at me when I've had my yellow fog lights on, and people think that they're my brights, and then I turn my brights on, and then they don't bother me. Like, oh, sorry. Like, no.
That's kind of like a, hey, your lights are a little bright. Look, again, you do you, right? Like you're saying with all the other everyone else, like you do you. But I really find that funny.
For fog lights are bright to people that aren't used to seeing them. But every one of my lights are properly aimed and are not too high, and so they aren't yellow. So maybe they are brighter because that's the thing though. All cars are moving away from the yellow to a more cool white blue. All manufacturers are. A lot of the older cars, when they go put their cool blue, yellow, or blue, white lights in, they don't re-aim the headlights. So then that's why, and yes, they're brighter. These there's fucking laser headlights that are coming out now in some of the newest high-end cars. Laser. Putting freaking lasers in our cars.
Are they really called laser?
Yeah. Instead of being activated by gas or a filament, they're activated by laser.
Oh, here they are. Oh, wow. These are, wow. Okay.
So the light that is emitted is from a laser.
All right. Of course, the cars that they're saying they're on are like BMWs. And
Yeah,
whatnot,
they're
so
on
they're
the highest.
high-end stuff.
Yeah, the very high-end echelons. They're probably on Mercedes. They've probably been on a Mercedes for a couple of years now if they're starting to talk about it being on a BMW. Everything's on a Mercedes first.
Oh, they're being tested. Okay, so it says U.S. mobile automobile regulations prohibit the use of advanced laser headlights currently being used or tested by Audi, Mercedes, BMW, Volvo, and Toyota.
Okay. So they're not on the road, but they do exist, and I'm not incorrect in my statement.
So these adaptive laser headlights detect oncoming cars and dim part of the light output to avoid dazzling drivers. Wow. As a matter of fact, my Toyota has that. They have auto high beams that will detect if cars are coming towards it. Yep. So it'll stay high beam unless a car is coming towards it. Then it goes back to low and then goes back to high again. I'm like, that's weird.
So that was the one feature that was turned on when I got my car. So with one of the first nights or mornings that I was driving to my old job at butt crack of dawn, turned the lights on, and I'm like, oh, the high beams turned on. That's weird, but I need them. It's dark. Nobody's here. That's fine. I saw a car coming, and I'm like, oh, well, they're not quite close enough, but I'll get ready to turn the high beams down. And then they just turned down by themselves. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I love this car. Then I discovered that it was a feature that the car has, and I learned how to turn it on, turn it off. So it's cool. I leave it on. It's nice. It doesn't do it on the freeway, which is great, but any like residential areas, side streets, it's dark. There's no one around. There's not a lot of lighting. It's nice. It's nice.
So
the technology in cars makes a lot of things. This car that I drove, this is not a big deal for Tesla owners or anybody that's got parking sensors, I guess, on their cars. But this thing, not only did it have the rear view camera, which became standard in 2013 or 2015, something like that. So that that wasn't a big deal to see that pop up on the screen. But what was interesting to see a top-down view of the parking spot that I was in, like the surroundings. I'm like, how the fuck does it see all this? You can see how shitty I just parked.
They have roof cameras.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool. It was cool to see, and like I said, a lot of the stuff. We're getting so far away from toe straps, but we're talking about everything that's functional. The high beams, even push to start is what happens when your fucking battery dies? I don't know. We'll figure that out one day, but
right.
I mean, you can't push start a automatic anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I like a lot of the stuff that's out there. The lane keep. I don't really like that one. I think that one.
Assist,
I think that one can probably cause accidents more than it can prevent. I think because, I mean, I don't know. It's something I don't have. Right. I have on my car. I don't have active on my car because I didn't like. There's a lot of construction on the side streets where I live right now. And none of the lines are painted very well. And some of them are painted over because they've had to shift the lanes so many times. So what I was experiencing was the car fucking slamming to a stop almost, or swerving because it thought, that I was in a different lane that I was in. I turned that feature off. I'm like, no, I think that's going to cause an accident.
Yeah.
Adaptive cruise control. I dig that. That was in the borrowed car this past weekend. A lot nicer than it is on my car. My car, you set the speed at, whatever you set it at, at the speed limit. And you could set how far you want to be. Do you want to be an Audi cock close? Do you want to be a BMW cock close? How close do you want to, how much of a cock do you want to be to the person in front of you? In my car, you set it for, I want to be a cock, an Audi cock for, get right up on somebody's bumper. My car will just do the speed limit right up until the bumper and then slams on the brakes. Right? This car that I borrowed, I set it for, a good distance, a safe distance, not a cock distance. And it just gradually, as we were driving, just gradually brought this cruise control down. It was nice. But, car didn't have a non-functional tow strap. So that was really nice.
And listeners may understand where you're coming from. Says that his mom had to turn off the sensor on her Honda because it's way too sensitive. And it can be. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, as technology gets better, I'm sure all those sensors will get better as well. I wish the one that showed me how bad I parked, wish it showed me that. It shows you backing up. It doesn't show you going in.
We're heading more towards cars anyway that self-drive. It's not like,
I mean,
not like we're more going towards cars that drive on their own than us getting better cars that help us drive.
I have a friend
we're
that
leaning way more towards that.
I have a friend that has a Tesla that has the full on robot driving mode, whatever it is. And he goes, I use it every day. He said, it's great. I get behind the wheel. I'm here for safety, but I can just kind of relax and just go to work. And part of my brain is like, that's fucking awesome that technology has gotten that far. Yeah. The logical part of my brain is going, but you're driving a weapon that has wheels and a radio. Like, your hand should be on the fucking wheel. And you should have input. And I don't know, like the race car driver I never got to be, part of my brain is just like, you have a major responsibility behind the wheel of a car. People like race car. Yes, they're race car drivers. They get paid millions of dollars to do so, and they're doing it their whole lives. But can drive 200 miles an hour in a group of people, nose to tail, and it's fine. Sometimes it isn't, but it's fine. People can't drive on the freeway at 55. And somehow this asshole in the front of you and the asshole next to him, neither one of them use their turn signals and turn into each other and cause a 30,000 car, wreck.
Wow, that is a lot of wreckage.
I'm just saying, man. Like, I love the technology on one hand. On the other hand, I don't think cars should have any technology. And phones, it should be like cars are a Faraday cage. But it should be the opposite, where phones don't work inside the car at all.
I mean, look, hey, this is us transitioning from the horse and buggy to the automobile. Cars are dangerous because at least the horse knows when to stop at a cliff or knows when to stop when there's danger, right? Mm-hmm. But then we learn to say, cars can, that's fine. We can drive a car. We'll get to that point where we're like, whatevs. So, but we're just at that point.
But people follow GPS maps to a T and drove into the fucking Atlantic Ocean.
Well, that's why it's better. So you're almost making the argument for AI to take over driving because you're like, because people are idiots, right? They can't drive. And now if AI takes over and you don't have to touch the controls and the computer does all the work for you, maybe we'll end up being safer because AI will know when to, if three AI, if you have like a dozen AI cars on the road and they all know they exist, they're not going to bump into each other.
It's true.
Whether they're tired, because it doesn't matter if they're tired or drunk or anything. They're never going to touch because they're all smart enough to know.
And I'm not arguing that. But the thing here is there's going to be some guy, some asshole that buys one of those cars named Skip. And Skip's going to think he's going to do a better job at fixing the car than company, whatever the fuck that built the thing. And Skip's going to work on it. And you're going to be driving down the road. You're not going to be driving. You're going to be sitting in your fucking car while it drives down the road eating your fucking charcuterie board. And Skip and his fucking flame jobbed fucking car is going to come and crash into you. Because he fucked around and fucked up one of the sensors.
Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's under the I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying that I'm sure in a dozen, maybe even longer. I actually expected us by now to already be driving self-driving cars. I actually thought we'd be doing it right now, but we're not yet.
Well,
so we're not there yet. Another decade or two. Yeah.
The more elite out of us are.
Yeah, but even then, it's not perfect. I'm talking about there's no steering wheel. Like it's so good you don't even have a steering wheel on your car. It's just,
I mean, if they got those robots that are in warehouses that never crash into each other and pick up things from people or pick things off of shelves. I don't see why you make the same painted lines on the road and AI car would be oh yep. There's the paint on the road. I know how to follow it.
It's a matter of getting every car to be that car. That's the only problem is you have to make every car that car and only a handful of cars are that car. Yeah. Only like one out of every dozen plus cars are that car. So until we get everyone doing the same thing, which I'm sure people will fight it.
Well, yeah.
Like we fight everything.
And some things we should. Some things aren't really worth the fight.
Yeah.
I watched a guy get pulled over the other day because he had a big decal on the bottom side of his windshield. Like the bottom third of his windshield. And he was screaming and yelling how it didn't obstruct his vision to the cop. And I'm just like, just peel it off. And then when he leaves, put another one on. You go to the courthouse and you go, look, I took it off. And then when you leave, you put another one on. I don't know.
I don't know either. I think that's a weird one. That's a weird fight.
It was a weird fight for the kid to begin with, I thought. Why argue it? Just he says it's obstructing your view. Be like, okay, sorry. The more you put up a fight, the more reason he has to fucking look further into your car. And in a state like yours, where suspension modifications are extremely illegal, having an exhaust kit in your state is illegal. So I don't know how tuner, ricer, import kids do anything in your state when
they just drive at night.
And the other thing is too, they take everything off, they make it look stock, they get it okayed, then they put it all back on and do it all over again.
I mean, that's kind of the fun. Half of the fun is putting that stuff together.
Right.
Half of the fun is the build versus the drive. I just like building.
Yeah, I'm not mechanically inclined. I have friends that built their 4-wheel drive rigs from frame up. So anytime I need something mechanically inclined, I'm like, hey guys, here's beer, here's pizza, here's parts, here's my car. I'll stand over here and play DJ, make fun jokes, and make sure you guys have pizza.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say.
Okay.
Got a little bit of extra juice tonight anyway, so there you go. Make up for not being here last week, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. You got anything else?
We've been doing that a lot lately.
What? Well, look, it's a slow time of the year. There's not a lot going on. Applications for press have been sent out to many a con, waiting for hearing back. Nothing really else going on. So actually taking a week off wasn't a bad thing, really, because it gave more time for things to happen.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, yeah, no, I must have missed the WonderCon. WonderCon's this weekend, and I'm sure I don't have a pass as far as I know. I'm approved as press. So I don't know if I can just go and pick up a badge.
Probably not.
Or not, because I want to go.
Just because I never submit the app. Just submit an application.
No, it's over. I mean, I can't anymore because it's this weekend.
Oh.
There's like nothing. It's this weekend. I can't apply.
You can't. Yeah, you can't do nothing then.
But I'm like, but it says I'm approved. Anyway, I emailed them like, it says I'm approved. It says I have an allocated badge. Like I have badge allocations. In other words, I could get a badge, but it doesn't, like the website doesn't allow me to get a badge. So I'm like, what do I do? Because I want to go.
Just email.
I did. I emailed them.
What they're going to say is
this past weekend. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're not going to reply to me. So that's going to piss me off.
Well, yeah.
Because I do want to go this weekend. Actually, I do want to. You know, I haven't missed the WonderCon yet. Really, I think, and I kind of don't want to. Because I like WonderCon.
Man, that is a fun show. That is definitely one that is missed.
Yeah.
For
next
sure.
year.
Next year. Yeah. Financially, hopefully, things will be a little bit better on my end, and travel can definitely become a thing. I don't have to look to my lady friend to make things happen.
It's fine. Like, again, you're at that point. You're fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's all good. But I think that's everything for this week. We'll be back next week around the same time. I'm going to stop saying when because that shit is floating as hell. In the 7 to 8 o'clock hour Mountain Time. You'll see us sometimes.
You'll get
Francis,
a notification.
Yeah, you'll get a notification.
Thank you, Ginger.
Hit the follow and notification bells or however it works. I don't know how it works.
Just follow.
Follow
should give you the notification.
Yeah. But Francis, where can people find you on the internets if they want to stalk you?
At AKA the other guy on everything, and then supergeekedup.com for the show that I do tomorrow. It's a live improv geeky show, so check that out.
Definitely,
like this, but
it only better.
Games and stuff. They're different. They're very different. We don't do games and like questions here. We just hang out and be generic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I don't want to have one thing to talk about. I like many things to talk about, and you can do that.
Yeah.
Every week with us. Do it. You can follow me at 303_ninja on the Twitters, 303ninja on the Instagram. Email us at thepoipodcast@gmail.com. Text, call, voicemail, call into the show. It'd be fun. 314-764-7631 spells out POI Pod 1 because at one point I thought Synergy was a thing. Look up POI Podcast for all the other places everywhere podcasts are found, except for Google Podcasts, which is ending next month for some reason.
I know, yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
I don't get it. But that's everything. Super geeked up tomorrow night. Watch Francis.
Oh.
Watch Jeff. Jeff lives in a hamlet. I don't know what a hamlet is. I don't know. I don't know what a parish is either, though. So, but apparently a hamlet is bigger than a parish.
Well, there you go.
I don't know.
You learn something new
every day. Check us out next week. Bye.